Everyone, welcome to Sunday Stretch. Hopefully everyone's feeling good today. Yes. All right. Let's get started. I've got my stick at the back of my hips. My palms are facing out. Knees are softly bent. Draw your belly buttons in. Inhale through your chest and exhale for your first hinge of the morning. It is creaky. I know, I agree. All right, pause here as you're fully hinged. Inhale again and exhale as you rise, paying attention to the nature of your spine. As you go down and as you go up, we want it to be operating in a nice solid block, no articulation. Pressing your heels through the ground, engaging your low belly as you come back to standing. Good. Right with this first stretch, exhale and feel your hamstrings melt as you release down toward the mat. Good. Take one more. Soft hinge as you melt further and further, maybe until your rib cage are meeting your inner thighs. And press up to standing. Nice. Okay, now let's go a little bit wider with our stance. We'll bring the stick out in front. Our arms are going to be dead, and we're going to hinge very deeply. Hinge. And lower yourself as far as you can. Hinging and then allowing your head to fall heavy toward the ground. So you're gazing between your legs. Don't pass out. But now as you rise, let's articulate. So peel yourself off the ground, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Hinge back down, gripping the feet with your, gripping the ground with your feet. Hinging all the way down, releasing, hanging your hips at the top, gazing through your legs, letting your arms fall heavy in front of you. Then inhale through the chest and exhale, belly button in as you peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time. One last time, releasing everything in your back. Hinge, then melt. Gazing between your legs, pausing here. And on your next exhale, draw that belly button in and restack your vertebrae one at a time. Nicely done. Okay. All right, that's the end of class today. No, just kidding. Grab your strap. That's the new key, James's keyword for let's stop class. All right, let's go ahead and grab our stick. Let's warm up our shoulders, draw the belly button in, relax through the neck and tops of shoulders. Exhale as you draw it up overhead, soften through the chest and tops of shoulders. Good. The front and to the back, nice and slow. Exhale as it draws back. I like how the first 5 and 10 minutes of class, I could just hear various degrees of in the exhales. Good. Open through the chest. And draw it back to the front. All right, now let's work through slowly, keeping our spine nice and straight, and feel yourself stretch as you wrap the stick around. Okay, stack it vertically, bicep to ear, and then back around. So you should feel yourself lengthening through your shoulders, lengthening through your rib cage as you reach up and over to get that stick. over, up, behind the hips and over. Change directions, up and over. Good, keep the spine straight. Nicely done. Where's that last? That's okay. You're good. Okay, now as we're able, we're gonna open up our chest just a little bit. So not just in a spinal twist, but also focus on opening the chest. Stay soft. Feel that hand pushing forward. You two are very distracting this morning. Good, nice and slow. Pause as you fully twist. Exhale. Good, now pause back to center and we'll open up to the side. Feel the separation in the rib cage, making sure that you stay really as flat as you can. So we're not rotating to the center or to the back. Good, let's go the other way. Exhale. Open up the armpit and rib cage. Good. Exhale. Then on our third one, we're going to open up and also bend at the waist. So lowering ourselves down as far as we're able. Good. If we can get the stick to the ground by the ankle bone, that's great. And use those obliques to rise. And let's go the other way. Open up and then bend. The hip is going away. So think about that inside hip. This is my left hand down at the ground. That inside hip is moving away. The outside hip is obviously also moving away as I'm getting a nice long stretch to that open side. And rise back up to standing. Nicely done. Okay, drop your hands. Stir the pot a little bit if you need to do that. Releasing your shoulder. It can be a lot to have the stick on your shoulder in that yoke position. Good. Switch arms. All right, now let's plant the stick out in front and we'll grip about shoulder height out in front. And we're going to hinge, but also stretch through our torso. So we're going to keep our grip on the stick. Soften the knees. As we hinge, we lower our head between our arms and hang on pretty tightly as you allow yourself to sink in between your arms. You're just gently hinging at this point, getting a nice stretch through your shoulders and rib cage. But then we'll slowly walk our hands down the stick. And the base of the stick is in a little bit closer than the top was. So as we get down to the bottom of our hinge, we'll pause in our grip and extend our arms away. So your arms should be as straight as you're able to make them. Lengthening through that stretch again. Good. And now climb your way to the top of the stick. All right. Now we're going to make that hinge go one more time. Let's lower just so we're about at shoulder height into a decent hinge. And now we're going to stir the pot. Drawing your elbows into your rib cage. Good, and stir the pot the other direction. Pushing the stick as far away from you as you can. Good. Okay, pause and hinge your way back up to standing. All right, we should be nice and warm, ready for the next side opener. Okay. All right, so for this side opener, we're going to plant the stick level with the foot, about 4 inches away from the base, and the arm is extended out. For the first one, I would generally say reach for that stick at the highest point that you can. So if you have a really long stick, don't be afraid to reach up high, well past the height of your head. Okay, now we're going to soften our knees. We're going to take our opposite arm, and we're going to be reaching up and over our head. Before we do so, we're going to slowly move that hip away. So my right hip is moving away from my right hand. I'm extending the left arm up and over, reaching for the top of the stick, trying to bring my hands together, trying to frame my ears by my biceps, staying as relaxed in my neck, allowing space between the base of my neck and my ears. Good. And then come back to center. So as you're down there in that position, analyze, you should try to stay as parallel as you can to get the most out of that stretch. Just awareness. I'm not, you should be reaching for perfection, just awareness. Now we're going to go again. What's that? So everything in parallel to the stick. Okay, so we're going to go again, and as you're able or desire to, lower your grip on your stick just a little bit, 1 inch or 2. So now, this is a little bit above my shoulders. I'm going to lower it down to about shoulder height. Okay, same process. So I have my opposite arm up into an L shape. As I exhale, I move my right hip away from my right hand and begin opening up, extending and reaching for the stick. Trying to stay in parallel with the stick, running east and west, trying to not grip through my legs too much. Good, and back to upright. Torso stretch. And because we like to do things 3 times, we're gonna try it one more time. Okay, and I'm gonna lower it just a little bit more, maybe to my armpit height. May or may not be able to do it, but that's my goal. All right, ready? Inhale through the nose, into the chest, exhale, hip moves away, arm extends up and above. Frame those ears by the biceps. Good. Okay, let's go to the other side. All right, so highest point for your grip. Relax through your quads, shake them out a little bit if you need to. Okay, now I have right arm up, my left hand is on the stick at the highest point. I'm gonna inhale, and my left hip is moving away, and exhale as I extend up and over my head, bringing my hands together, opening up my side. Soften through your jaw. Good, and back to standing. All right, a little bit lower, number 2. All right, breath. Exhale and reach. Feel your rib cage open up. If you rotate, you'll begin to feel it a little bit more in your lower back, but we're trying to really target the side. And back up to standing. Last time through. All right. Relax through the legs. Is it? Getting the stink eye over here. All right, inhale. Relax the neck and shoulders. Exhale, extend up and away, lowering your ears to your bicep, framing your top ear with your other bicep. And back to standing. You trying to change the subject, James? So it depends what I'm making for Sunday dinner. Nicholas has scrimmages today, but there's no, this is a little bone of contention. Even though they're outdoor soccer scrimmages on a giant soccer field, they're allowing no spectators. So Kevin's going down there to see if he can park close enough to the field that we could sit in the car and watch him play. So he will let me know. He's got 2 of them. So we could end up being down there all day to watch 2 games because each one's an hour and a half. And so it may be a quick dinner versus a long drawn out Mexican dinner based on whether I can go to his soccer scrimmages or not. All right. How are we feeling? Great? Excellent? Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get down on one knee. All right. We're just going to do our kind of traditional work here. I was inspired this morning on my walk. I saw a guy at the park doing some stretches and such. And of course, being me, I'm watching him and analyzing what he's doing incorrectly. And I'm wanting to go over there and give him some tips. Thinking, yes, because what he was doing, he was going to hurt himself. He was stretching, but very forcefully going into these rotational positions. And I was just like, oh, please stop doing that. All right, so we're going to start with opening up our hip flexors. Okay, so I'm on my right knee, left foot is extended. The pole's in my right hand, but I'm not intentionally going to go into any monkey hang or anything, okay, because we've done a lot for the shoulders already. So, well, maybe I might accidentally do a monkey hang, okay. Or you can put your stick down and focus on balance, okay. If you do that, you know, there's intentional positionings of this foot. You can press the foot down into the ground and focus on opening up the front of the foot. Or if you want more stability, you'd have your toes into the mat. All right, but I'm going to use the stick. I'm going to have my top of my foot down. I'm going to focus on going straight ahead. So that knee is in front of my hip. And I'm going to exhale and I'm going to begin sliding forward. Okay, so I'm leaving my right leg behind right now. And I'm trying to keep my torso as straight as I can because my hip flexors are those big muscles that connect the top and the bottom half. So if you lean down into this stretch, you're going to get your quads, but you aren't going to get quite as much benefit in your psoas and some of those big muscles that connect the two. So if you use your stick, you can focus on being tall with your stick, having a little close, using your bicep, and then leaving that leg behind. Come back up to a neutral position, and then exhale as you move forward again. Now, when I say leave that leg behind, don't clench through that leg. It's like you're literally leaving it behind you without any energy or effort. Okay, come back up. And exhale. Good. All right, nicely done. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and slide the left leg forward. So you can use your stick here for balance if you like. If you have your yoga blocks close, you can use a yoga block as another arm lengthener. Okay, so That leg is straight in front of you. Make it go dead into the ground. So if you do that and you're able to make the leg go dead and you need more balance, go back to that right foot, curl the toes up into the mat so you can activate through the glute a little bit better, okay? So Doug, toes in on the right leg. There you go. Now you can use that glute for a little bit more balance. Okay, now we're gonna exhale and melt forward. So this is neutral spine melting, not rounded spine. So we're imagining that we're melting our sternum toward our leg. So you can have feet on the ground, kind of around your tib fib. You can be framing it. You can use your stick or your yoga blocks. As you're able, your hands are under your armpits. Now you can reach that right hand forward if you wish and grab the left foot, assuming that's the one that's out in front. And you can gently pull the foot back a little bit to get a little bit more of that stretch, lengthen down to your calf. And then release. And then you're slowly going to drag that heel back right under the knee. Okay, now if you haven't already or maintain that, frame your foot. So left leg is forward. I'm now framing it with my right foot. Right, I'm framing my left foot with my two hands. Goodness gracious. Okay, everyone got it? Using your yoga blocks if necessary. Okay, now we're going to exhale and lift that right knee off the ground. So we're into a runner's lunge. So my right foot, the balls of the feet are into the ground, the heel is lifted, that back leg's nice and straight. I've got a good parallel, I'm not rotated, so my hips are nice and parallel, my shoulders are parallel. Now we're gonna exhale and we're gonna airplane those arms back behind us, okay? So our palms are facing the ceiling, we're balanced on our left foot, and our foot's probably feeling pretty active into the mat. Okay, now we are going to rise up out of this position. So I want you to think my left foot is forward. I'm finding my left heel because I got to use that glute to help me rise. Okay, so I'm going to inhale through my chest. Exhale as I press my left heel through the ground, swoop my arms through and press back up. And now we're going to make our way back down to the ground. So lowering, hinging through our hips, melting our torso back, arms fall back into airplane, palms up. And then we're back down, framing our foot, and we can lower our knee back down to the ground. Okay, nicely done. Kathy, are you okay? So right now, if you were able to do this, you should really feel like you activated through that left hamstring, left glute. Okay, now we're going to go back into the same position into our runner's lunge, and we're just going to do a little rotation. Okay, so as we're able. Now, if you are not able to get yourself comfortably up into this runner's lunge, or you don't want to for your rotation, go ahead and stay down on one knee in a half kneel. Okay, otherwise we're going to exhale, lift that right knee off the ground. So we're in our runner's lunge, and we're going to keep our right hand planted underneath our right shoulder. Extend that left arm away, parallel to our ear, and then exhale as we spiral the left hand up to the ground. And I'm getting a nice stretch in that left glute. Good, and I can feel my left rear deltoid helping to pull my shoulders back as I strive for parallel. Good, and I'm holding this position. And now I'm going to spiral my left hand back down to the ground and lower my right knee. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my knees together and allow myself to push back into child's pose. So the question is, if you lost it, where did you lose it? And be specific. Was it in your core? Was it in your glutes? Core. Did you? Oh, on the rotation. There's kind of a lot going on because I deliberately held you guys in a balancing position for a really long time. But now we know as we go into the other side, what things we need to activate in sequence. Hopefully you'll be more successful knowing going in how to make it happen. Okay. Pardon me? I do not hate old people. All right, so now we're going into a half kneeling position, right knee up, left knee down. Okay, hip flexor stretch, right? So I've got the stick in my left hand. I'm gonna begin gliding forward as I leave my left leg behind. I'm trying to work in a straight line with shoulders and hips. I'm being mindful of drawing my belly button in and having a neutral spine. So I get that stretch all the way up through my psoas. I'm not gripping through my left quad. The top of my left foot is laying long on the mat. Good. If you're able to do this stretch, it's actually a really nice one for getting the top sides of your quads as well as your hip flexors. I know we talk about how hard it is sometimes to get a good quad stretch because it's not necessarily a comfortable position. Okay, so now we're back into our half kneel, nice right angles. Now we're gonna slide that right foot out. So it's nice and straight as we're able. Okay, and now we're gonna hinge forward. Okay, so we can use our stick to help us hinge. We can use our yoga blocks. We're melting forward toward our leg, and we're trying to make that right leg now as dead as possible. In our mind's eye, we're visualizing lengthening through the hamstring, the back of the right leg. If you're able to get your hands down to yoga blocks or to a stack of books, you're framing your leg with hands underneath your armpits. And then as you're able, take that left hand and reach forward for the bottom of the right foot. And then gently pull back on that foot to lengthen the stretch into your calves and your Achilles, if you can get that far. Nice long breaths into your low belly. Okay, reframe that foot. Okay, now we're gonna drag that right foot back under the right knee. Okay, here we go. So we're going into runner's lunge, all right? So our hands are framing our right foot, okay? Then we're gonna exhale as we lift our left knee, and now our weight is on our toes in our left foot. Okay, our chest is on our right knee or our right thigh, and that's fine. Okay, now we're gonna exhale as we airplane those arms back, palms up. Okay, now heavy right heel as you begin to press through the hamstring and glute, bringing the arms up and through toward the ceiling. Not bad. Good. Okay, so we're pausing here, and now we're gonna hinge forward. Arms are just dropping. hinging and lowering. Bring the arms through back to a palm up position. Good. And then plant the hands, bring the knee down. That was much better. Well, you know, it's kind of a trade-off. Sometimes if it's a surprise, I get less complaining on the forefront. Not going to happen. The complaining's happening either way. Great. Okay. All right, so here we are in our half kneel as we've hinged. We're framing our right foot. Exhale as you lift that left knee. So we're back into our runner's lunge. And now is our rotation. So yes, you're gonna feel it in the outside of your glute, James. Okay, so left hand stays down, right arm extends out parallel to ear, and then exhale as you rotate. Okay, and you're gonna feel it right there in the butt. Good, okay. Pressing that left hand into the ground, relaxing through the shoulders, don't let them rise up. Rear delt on the right side and lat are working for this rotation as you try and stack your shoulders. Fingers are extended toward the ceiling. And then slowly lower the hands back down to the ground. Drop the left knee gently. Swing that right leg through and push back into a child's pose. See, and now you're even. Both sides are well stretched. Well stretched. All right, now let's come back into tabletop. We'll just take a little intermission here and do a little spinal stretch. Wrists under armpits, knees under hips, tops of feet into the ground. Okay, with our spinal stretch, in a yoga practice, this would be cat. With the Pilates practice, we're not just stretching, we're driving our spine to the ceiling by pushing it there from our abs. Okay, so there's a lot of mindset behind it in that our abs don't go along for the ride. They are actually the drivers of the stretch. Okay, so we start here in tabletop with a nice neutral spine. Okay, so don't let your head hang down to start. It's in a nice neutral. Okay, now draw in your breath through your nose. And as you exhale, drive the belly button up towards your spine. And as it begins to drive toward the spine, it's going to begin pushing your spine upward. And then your head begins to fall. And as your shoulder blades begin to separate, it's because you're becoming so active in your low belly, it's pressing it toward the ceiling. And then slowly lower back down into neutral. We'll do that one more time. And I want you to, as you're at the top of your spine stretch, try to feel like you become so active in your belly that your legs are dead and they're just barely gracing the ground. Okay, so in our neutral, inhale through your nose into the chest and begin your exhale. Draw in your low belly, cinch the rib cage, head falls as spine is driven toward the ceiling. Legs become dead and light as you grip toward the ceiling from your transverse. And then relax as you slowly lower back into a neutral spine. Okay, nicely done. All right, now we're gonna go back to our half kneel for just a tiny little bit more of a spine stretch, a rotational stretch. All right. So we're in our half kneel. I don't think I want to stick. Do I want to stick? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I want to stick. Okay, so I have my right knee down, left knee up, and I have the stick in my left hand. And it's like 3 inches away from my foot, but it's in parallel to about the middle of my foot. Okay, as I exhale, I'm going to slide forward and I'm going to allow my arm to open up out to the side. So open up through my left side of my chest. Okay, come back to center. And my grip is about level with my shoulders. Open up, driving the stick back. Good. And now I'm going to take my ballerina arm and I'm going to combine that. So as I exhale, open up the left side, and I'm going to take a rotation as I twist, trying to take my gaze back to my left hand behind me and back to center. Exhale, hip flexor, left arm goes back and right arm goes ballerina. And back to center. Good, yeah. Okay, slide forward, left arm goes back, and then twist. Good, okay, let's go the other way one last time. Okay, so right knee is up, stick is in the right hand. Okay, I'm gonna start off sliding forward and allowing that right arm to go back and behind, opening up my chest. Still staying forward with my gaze and my shoulders. Exhale. Good. Now we can add in that ballerina arm with the left arm. Okay, exhale, slide forward, right arm goes back, and then take a little spinal twist. Good. We're going to do this 2 more times. Exhale, slide forward, rotate, and ballerina arms. Good. And last one. Exhale, open, and twist. Good. Okay, nicely done. Now let's go ahead and set the stick to the side and reach for our strap. James. All right, let's make our way down to the mat with our strap. Okay, so I'm going to start with my right leg. So you can lay down with left leg extended or left leg. You can have bent with the knee toward the ceiling and the sole of the foot on the ground. Elbows into your rib cage. Strap at the arch or at the ball of your foot. All right, now start at a position with that leg where you can allow it to go dead and release the tension from it before you begin your stretch. With elbows drawn in and biceps active, begin your exhale. As you exhale, sink your transverse, that low belly muscle, toward your spine. Begin contracting even more, drawing that foot up over the hip. Once you've reached a position where you're feeling really pretty at a dead end, Pause, maybe release just a little bit of tension and breathe. You can visualize the muscle softening and lengthening. Go ahead and release just a little bit more tension. Grab a breath and then exhale and return as you contract again through the biceps, softening even more. Nice. Okay, now we're going to do something just a little bit different. We typically go right into the outer hamstring, which we're going to do, but we're going to add in another one, okay? So first we'll start with the outer hamstring. So we're going to rotate the femur in the joint, in the hip joint. And so our right toe is more angled toward our left shoulder. Straps in your left hand. Hips keep anchored down to the ground. And now you're going to pull gently up toward that left shoulder, right palm on the ground, to access that right hamstring. No, I'm not going to play with flex and point, James. Okay, draw your knees to your chest, and now align your knee right over your hip again. And we're going to extend that leg straight up. Okay, now we're going to try and get after some of our deep glute muscles. Okay, so we're going to take that right leg and allow it to fall to the side. Okay, so make it a dead weight as you're able into your straps. So you can use one hand or two. Maybe it's easier with the opposite hand. But the key here is to keep your hips anchored into the ground. Okay, so now I'm letting my leg, and it's in parallel. It is now not rotated. I'm not trying to get after my hamstring. I'm trying to get after some deep butt muscles that attach your hip to the side of your femur. So these are muscles that we typically get to when we do pigeon or when we do cross-legged piriformis. But sometimes for some of us, maybe we have knee issues or other issues that prevent us from getting the most out of this stretch because of our limitation with other body parts. So let that leg go dead into your strap and allow your leg to fall across your body so it's moving to the left while keeping your right hip down. And hopefully you're accessing it deep in your right butt, as it were, to the side. Good. Okay, draw your knee to your chest. Maybe do some small circles with that knee into your chest, and then we'll switch the strap to the other leg. So there's like 3 rubber band-like muscles underneath your gluteus maximus that attach like that from your hip to the side of your femur. And those are the ones that we're trying to stretch. If you had like wanted to create a visual, like when we're walking, those are the ones that stretch and contract to move the femur away from the hip. Okay. And Doug, those are the ones on you that are incredibly tight. Okay, all right, so now left leg, left foot in the strap. Find a position where that leg can go dead in the strap. Elbows in, and then exhale as you begin to contract through the bicep and pull that leg up the sky over your hip. Exhaling into the low belly to keep the hips anchored. Okay, lower it a couple of inches, maybe a foot. Draw in a breath, and with your exhale, begin applying tension into the strap to draw the leg back again. Good, now lower the leg, and now we'll rotate, drawing that left big toe toward the right shoulder. Straps in the right hand, let the leg go dead, left palm down on the ground, and exhale as you contract toward that right shoulder, targeting the outer hamstring, the outside of the back of the leg. Maybe you feel it back behind the outside of the knee. That would make sense because it passes back there to attach. Keep the left hip down. Okay, now draw your knee to your chest. Now reset your anchors. Hips are down into the ground. Okay, now we're gonna target those outer deep butt muscles. Okay, so allow the leg to go dead in the strap. Okay, now the leg is gonna cross over your body, keeping your left hip down. It might not be that much movement as it moves across your body over to the right side. I feel pretty good about holding the strap in my left hand as it is crossing over to the right. Feels a bit more natural, but I do have my elbow up to help hold the weight of the leg as opposed to into my ribs, although that kind of works too. So play with that. But focus on keeping the left hip down and allowing the leg to fall dead toward the side. Then you can kind of play around with the height of the leg. So you can draw it down towards your right foot, and then exhale as you draw it back up again. Good. Okay, now bring it back up and over your body, over your hips, and allow that left knee to bend. And now we'll cross the right ankle onto the left knee. Soft bend in the left knee. Right elbow into the inside of the right thigh. And exhale as you begin to contract and pull the left knee in towards your body as your right elbow pushes your right knee away from your body. Good, then slowly untangle as we switch sides. So now right foot is in the strap, left ankle crossed onto right knee. Generous bend in that right knee. Left elbow into left inner thigh. Be strong in that left lat to push that left knee away as you begin pulling the right knee in. And breathe, exhale deeply into the low belly and into the lengthening of your muscles. Good. Okay, slowly release the strap. All right, now we have our arms out into an X and our knees in toward our chest, and we're going to let our legs fall slowly to the right. Now, as we're able, we're going to extend that right leg underneath, nice and straight. Okay. And we're going to take our right hand and press down onto our left knee. Left arm is extending out as you open your chest to the sky, palm to the ceiling. And that arm can be teed out, it can be lower in an X, or you can exhale and float it up to a Y, opening up through your armpit and your chest. Now, in this stretch, how this differs is we've allowed our hip to come up off the ground. So we're getting a lot of other muscles incorporated into this stretch rather than just targeting those deep butt muscles that we were going for previously with the strap. Low back, glute, all the way up through our chest. Good, slowly release the knee. Roll yourself back to center. Align your hips onto the mat. Find your neutral as you draw your knees into your chest again. Slowly let your legs fall to the left side. And then as you're able, extend that bottom leg, that is the left one, to be straight underneath. Okay, now taking the left hand on right knee, press down. Right arm extends out into an X, a T, or even that Y. So floating up into the Y as you're able to open the chest, the armpit. Good. Now remove the left hand from the right knee. Slowly roll the hips back down to the ground. Extend your legs straight out. And arms extended out into a T. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the low belly. All right, I'm rolling over onto my side, pressing myself up. Thanks for joining me for Stretch today, everybody. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you next week. Bye.